people want to believe that they've come up with the solution or answer to the problem.
Well, people forget it's a team. And it's not just, oh, here's the CEO and you're the king and you deserve loyalty because it's your company. That's a very short-sighted vision. You need a team that functions even if you're having a bad day, they can step up, you know. And that doesn't happen without buy-in. That doesn't happen without ownership. That doesn't happen without someone saying, I have some control and I own a piece of this. Yeah, this surprises a lot of people, but again, that's what happens when you're a second career attorney. People see you and assume you've been in the game much longer because you look a little older, but no, I've still been a firefighter longer than I've been a lawyer. It'll be next year I will have been a lawyer longer than I've been a firefighter.
Welcome to this episode of Bourbon of Proof, where we interview those lawyers who have been successful at law and life, and we do it over a series of whiskey or whiskey-infused products. And of course, I'm joined with my fabulous, handsome, dashing co-host, Mauro Fiore.
Thank you very much for having me again, Bob. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, and today we have one of my favorite new personalities that I've met in social media and now in real life, who is an advocate for the workers. I mean, a big advocate. You're a big dude.
Yeah, literally big. Yeah.
Literally big. Like I felt like a dwarf, like next to you. But I feel like if you have like a red beard, you could actually be a dwarf in like one of the Dungeons and Dragons movies.
You know, I think every man goes to that phase where you want to see how long you can grow this thing out. And I had a phase where I'd go out to bars and things, and someone would reach up and grab my beard and shout, "Tormund! It's Tormund from Game of Thrones!" You learn quick that the long beard's a liability.
Well, you're big into the Roman history, culture stuff.
Think about the Roman Empire every day.
That was one of the
my
questions.
Roman Empire. Yeah.
I think about Roman Empire zero part of any day.
How do you not think about it at least once a day?
Because I'm not a weirdo. Okay, we're going into the first one. And I want to thank Charles Liu, and I want to thank Tom Hardy for giving us his bar here at Bike Shed, downtown Los Angeles. And the first one we have is one of Mauro's favorite brands.
Yep.
Old Forester.
Old Forester. I've been to the distillery there in Louisville in Whiskey Row.
We've been together.
And we've been there together. They make, thing about Old Forester, they have $15 bourbon and they have $1,500 bourbon.
Yep.
And all of it's really good, you know, I mean, top to bottom.
And they have, every year they do one called the Birthday Bourbon, which we'll have on the show. I don't know if we've had it on. I've had it, but it's an interesting one. But yeah, Old Forester started as a medicinal one. Old was just, he was a doctor, right?
Yeah, that was it's
Prescription strength?
during Prohibition.
This one is actually very much, this is 57.5% alcohol, so this is prescription.
Okay. You'll need a doctor's note
You ready?
for this one? Okay, here we go.
Speaking of doctors, you were in Dr. Phil yesterday. How did that go?
Dude, it was fantastic. That was our second time because there's a lot of fight about the whole quiet quitting movement. So,
Really?
Yeah, it got heated up there.
And I know you're not one to back down from a fight, for sure.
I tend to start some of them, but it was a good time.
Ryan Stygar, thank you for coming on to this show. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Bob, I'm going old school. I'm an homage to my first appearance on Bourbon of Proof, and I'm wearing the tiger suit.
You know, if those of you ever get into the inner circle, we had a guest that was in the inner circle of trial lawyers. Mauro's inner circle is a little different, and you get honored with the tracksuit.
You get it in the mail, and you'll know it's for me.
That's when you know you're a made man.
That's when you know you're made man.
Made fun of, man.
You know what? The right person is going to respect the suit.
You respect the
Well,
suit.
you would think. I gave one to a friend of mine who I will not mention, his name I won't mention, and we went on a trip recently, and I said, bring your tiger suit.
Rob May.
Because we're going to wear our suits. So me and Bob brought our suits.
Yeah.
He didn't bring his suit, and he's like, oh, I couldn't find it. I said, what do you mean you couldn't find it, man? I mean, how hard is it? How big is your closet? And then finally we browbeat him, and he had confessed to throwing it out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he told me he threw
Dishonorable.
it out. Can you believe that? Who would throw out one of these suits?
So you've never met Ryan, right? You've never met Ryan?
No, I met him at Mardi Gras.
No, he wasn't there this year.
You weren't
No,
there?
we've crossed paths.
I know I've met him before.
If you ever go to like any weird parts of any urban areas, he's probably there. So anyways, Ryan is out. You're a second career lawyer. Or your second career as a lawyer.
Second career, yeah. No, I was a firefighter first.
And that's why we picked Old Forester, almost Forest. You actually do it.
I love it. I love the connection. And it's delicious, by the way.
This is very good.
Were you like a city fireman, or you were a Department of Forestry?
It was all rural. So Cal Fire, formerly known as CDF, that was my department. I did that. Did wildfires up and down the state. I did desert rescue. We had state vehicular recreational park. That's Ocotillo Wells. Did that for some
Oh,
time.
I didn't know you did that. I had
Yeah.
a huge, I had a quadriplegic case against Honda
Really?
when they were out in Ocotillo Wells.
I've
I
crossed-
can't.
Wells, there we go.
I used to
Whoa,
ride
I
my
didn't know
quads
that.
down in Ocotillo Wells all the time, and it's funny because you would always see the helicopter landing out there all weekend long.
We had 2 helicopters stationed very, very close because when you live flight people out like that, the rate of incidents out there is so high. Having just 1 helicopter is not enough.
You know,
I didn't. Oh God, I should.
guy I
I
went
probably.
to-
You're probably in a
busy.
report. I
the
probably.
guy I went to high school with, I think now is maybe the chief of the CDF, or his name is Jim Harris.
Jim Harris.
He was on our case.
Jim
I
Harris?
remember Jim Harris, 'cause he was a
He's
responder
like
out
the
there.
chief out there or something.
Yeah. So I had this girl. She was first time on ATV. Her foot got caught in the back part.
first time?
First time, and she was 8 weeks pregnant at the time.
No.
And the jury lashed out, but she ended up carrying that baby. Broke her neck, full quad, went to a facility in Colorado, and she had the baby full term. The story's the most inspiring story ever, but he's now probably 4 or 5 years old. Crazy story.
Really? And how's his health?
He's A+. And
That's
his mom, she's now
incredible.
finally starting to be able to use her hands, and she's a big advocate for quadriplegic victims. She's in Laguna. She's not too far from
Oh my gosh. Well, what a hero to go through that. And
Let's talk about your hero shit.
No.
Ryan, do you actually think that if we raked the forests, we wouldn't have fires?
we do what?
If we raked the fires, we wouldn't have
What do you
forest
mean by
fires?
raking them?
Come on, man. You never heard that famous line from Mr. 45, Donald Trump? where
What do
he
you mean
says-
rake the forest?
That's what he says. If you rake the forest, we won't have forest fires.
Like he literally means I go out there and just rake it better, it won't burn?
Yeah, that's
Well, I
what
mean,
he said.
In fairness, burning is a natural part of a healthy forest. So sometimes you want it to burn to some extent. But, you know, the CDF and CAL FIRE, we put a lot of work into preventative measures, like taking care of the forest, making sure it's healthy, keeping the undergrowth at a manageable level. When we're not fighting fires, I spend a lot of time just hiking out there and doing maintenance on the forest.
Really? Do you
Yeah.
still do this kind of stuff?
No, not anymore. I'm an indoor cat now. I had enough outdoor time. I'm good.
I'm more of a couch potato, creature.
That's the best kind of potato.
It is. I like a good potato as an Irishman. So are you Irish being with the red?
Not at all.
Wow, that's
I
strange.
kind of wish I was, because it disappoints people when they find out
I feel
now.
very cheated in our
No,
friendship.
I'm just English and defective. I don't know what happened.
Well, your teeth look great for an Irish. for an
Dad's a
Englishman.
dentist.
What, really?
Yeah, free dental care goes a long way.
Wow, I didn't know.
I mean, there's a price to be paid. You know, there's something to be said. Is hey, it doesn't cost anything, but your dad's roasting you the whole time. He's poking at your teeth. You know, you flinch. Dad, that hurts. Oh, you're fine. Embarrassing me in front of my.
I saw
hygienist.
some. So for those of you that don't know, Ryan is at Attorney Ryan on social media, or attorney.ryan.
Oh, at Attorney Ryan, Attorney.Ryan is actually a really sweet guy out of Louisiana.
Or
And
it's Ryan Chervais
Louisiana.
or Chervais.
I'm not going to butcher the poor guy's
won't.
name, but
But he's
really
awesome.
sweet. Yeah, really sweet guy. It was funny.
you
When
know
I was
Ryan
just getting
in
started, he
Louisiana?
reached out.
Did we meet him at the Bourbon and Proof in
You've never
Kentucky?
met Ryan, I don't think, but he's on. We talk a lot on social media. He's a cool
Yeah,
dude.
he
We've never met.
DM'd me when I was first getting started because he saw the names. He was like, "I suppose we have to fight to the death now." And you know, Ryan, if you're watching, I'll take you up. We'll arm wrestle for it. I don't know.
I wouldn't arm wrestle this guy. I met him in person. You're
Yeah.
pretty big dude. So we had a former guest, Tom Kirker. We
Yes.
found out you guys went to college together, UCSB, even though
Yes,
he's
we
from
did.
Houston. He told us to ask you, why did you pick Attorney Ryan?
Oh my God, that is so funny. All right, well, Tommy's a bit of a hero of mine. When I first got started on social media, I had no idea what I was doing. I just didn't, I was starting out, I didn't have any money, I didn't have an advertising budget, and I called him for advice because at the time he was crushing on TikTok. And I asked him for some tips.
Which is this is 2019 or 20? 20,
This
21?
is got to be 2020, I think.
Now, mind you, for those of you who are watching or listening, Tommy is 29 years old currently, but he was the first-year lawyer when he did this, 2019. You're for the same. What's your license, 2018 or 19?
No, it's 21.
21?
Early January 21, yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that surprises a lot of people, but again, that's what happens when you're a second career
Mm-hmm.
attorney. People see you and assume you've been in the game much longer because you look a little older, but no, I've still been a firefighter longer than I've been a lawyer. It'll be next year I will have been a lawyer longer than I've been a firefighter.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of, and we'll get into, well, you got to drink up. I mean, you're talking too much.
Oh,
Part of the show is you got to like
delicious.
keep
Yeah, there
going.
we go. I'll give you another sip here. This is delicious.
Well, at the end, you're going to pick your favorite.
You know,
so I
it's
don't
the
wanna-
opposite for me because
This one's going to be tough to beat, I'm going to tell you.
You know, it's the opposite
one of his
for me
favorites.
because people talk to me and they're like, "There's no way this guy's a lawyer," and then I've been a lawyer since the '90s, so the opposite of you.
Well, it's giving Mafia boss right
Yes,
now. That's-
But what you don't know about Morrow is Morrow did not go to an accredited law school, and he got an AA in golf golf course management.
Golf resort management.
Golf resort. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend him.
Really?
Yes.
And
then I went to
crushing it.
unaccredited law school and I graduated. I was 23.
23. He's been a lawyer since he's 23.
Well, how many golf courses are we managing, though?
Just one. I'm a member at one now that I love to play, but I'm not managed.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm more of a putter. I'm an amazing putter guy.
I like putt-putt.
Yeah, me too. I'll stick with
there
that.
we go.
This guy's actually pretty good at golf. Okay, I'm gonna do the second pour for you.
Let's do this.
So you got to drink that because this one's going to be one of the most. I've never had this. And again, I want to thank Booze Outlet for sourcing these very strange bottles. We asked Nico from Booze Outlet to find some weird shit. And he found
Whicked Pickle.
This is Wicked Pickle.
Ooh. I'm not that big into pickles, so this might. Be
I'm not big
rough.
into. Actually, I've got more. I now enjoy a good pickle, like a deli pickle.
I like a good dill pickle, a spicy dill.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Speaking
give
of spicy, Ryan keeps it spicy, and this is why I picked it for you
Where is
on
this
social
going?
media. Well, this could have gone a very dark turn. but no,
It
didn't.
could have. It still can.
It can. It may.
He,
We'd love it.
short pour for me. I'm not a pickle man.
Well, you might like this one.
Okay. What the hell?
Oh man.
I've seen you eat and digest anything on just trying to do it.
That is
What's the
true.
story with
That
this
is true.
pickle whiskey here?
So, well, it's
Oh
literally.
my God, that
smells-
smells like a
smells-
jar of
It
plastic.
smells like pickle.
Smells like plastic pickle.
So it's a spicy pickle. So this is
That's a
not,
pickle,
not only
man.
this is Wicked Pickle, but this is One Stiff Pickle. They have different brands. This is the One Stiff Pickle. You didn't even do a cheers. That's like 7 pickles bad luck.
Okay, we got to cheers.
Oh
We
my
got to
god.
cheers
More,
to
there
the
you
chili
go,
pickle.
cheers.
Chili pickle.
I can't get over the smell.
Oh my god, that's actually good and weird.
Actually, it tastes better than it smells. It smells like a jar of pickles, but it actually tastes good.
I'd like to
strange.
put some salami
Very
bread in there
strange.
and see what it goes with. So I picked this one for you, Ryan.
Yeah.
because- Look at the face on this guy.
Yeah. No, thank you for picking this just for me. I love it.
Yeah, this is for Ryan. Oh. The reason I picked it for you is because you're not afraid to speak your voice on
Yeah.
social media, and a lot of people try to toe the line or not get political, and you're you're in the face. And I heard your story about Dr. Phil yesterday about what you do, what you believe in, why you fight for workers. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, man. And thank you for recognizing that. I do try to be a voice. I think with the platform and the following I have, it's almost a responsibility in my practice area to not be afraid to speak up and say, like, listen, things are getting harder for working class people. And having been a blue collar guy coming up, working through the ranks and trying to make my way in San Diego of all places, I was financially strained even though I was putting in tons of work at the station. And it just felt like no matter what I did, just life was getting harder and harder to keep up with. So I really do have a soft spot for working people who are telling us today, like, I can't afford childcare. I can barely afford to decide between fresh groceries and a full tank of gas. My rent is going up, but my wages aren't keeping up. And it's genuinely my true belief that if we don't protect our working class Americans, like, we're not going to have anything.
And I think we're as strong as a country as you are as your working class.
1,000%. It's
my
the
dad's a
backbone.
truck driver. I mean, we're all working class folk.
My dad ran car washes and
Yeah.
stuff like that. He was
There you
a-
go.
he
And that's
was
the real
hardworking guy.
economy. People
Hardworking guy.
driving trucks, building a small businesses, putting things together. You know, I think there's so much emphasis on how well are the rich doing? How well is the stock
And that's
market
what the stock
doing?
market means nothing as far as how well actually.
It does,
people
and
are
that's what gets me fired up is, you know, people will say, oh, the stock market's doing great. Look at all this wealth we're building. And it's like, that means nothing to a single mother who's working 2 jobs and can barely keep up with rent. And that's why I get really fired up.
And that's where we see the unemployment rate sometimes is we're working like 2 jobs at minimum wage and the unemployment rate is low.
Well, we have
what's the point, like-
overemployment now.
Yeah.
I mean, show me a working class person. You know, no family money, no trust fund. This is just a working class, honest, hardworking person. How many are just working 1 job at this point?
That's true.
I mean, the gig economy is blowing up because people are trying to bridge the gap from where their wages are and where the cost of living is creeping beyond their control.
So we were just, Mara and I travel a lot together internationally with our families. We hang out. We were just, we were in Switzerland and we were talking to the folks there and they were talking about how they have such high wages for everybody, and high wages lead to, in their society, much lower crime because nobody feels like they have to like go out there and do certain things.
Yeah.
because the
Yeah, I mean, I
wages
think
are higher.
our tour guide said that the minimum wage in Switzerland was $4,200 a month if you worked full time.
Is that U.S. dollars or is it like a Swiss?
40,
Swiss,
the
yeah.
equivalent of like $4,200 a month U.S. And you get free health care. and you get everything subsidized, and free education for everything else. So he says, if the lady works as a cashier at the supermarket and her husband works, sweeping up at the market or whatever, between both of them, they make like 10 grand a month. Everybody's fine, there's
And when you're
nobody's starving
unemployed
to
and
death.
you take unemployment, it was like they take a the government pays you, but instead of you owing the government more, you pay it at a lesser rate once you are employed. It's crazy.
Interesting.
But I was listening, I was like,
Okay.
this makes a lot of logistical sense.
Well, it's nice what Switzerland appears to be doing is they're setting a floor and they're saying, look, we're a society and we're going to make sure that no matter how hard things get or what happens in your life, you're not going to drop below a certain floor. Like there's a certain level of security. And I think the pushback we get here in the States when we talk about minimum wage increases, we talk about, universal health care, things like that. They say, well, nothing's free. Yeah, of course nothing's free. We're not dumb. But look at the high cost of not having those things. Look at the high rates of drug abuse in this country. Look at the high rates of mental health crises in this country, the high rates of poverty. Poverty is a policy choice. It doesn't have to be as endemic as what we're seeing. The problem is there's, for as many people like me pushing for higher wages and better benefits for workers, there's a lot of, unfortunately, much more powerful people who are saying, well, that's bad for business, and if it's bad for business, it's bad for America, so we're not going to consider it.
We got to finish this pickle because it's like fucking
You've
up
got
a
me
little
in a
bit.
pickle right
This
now.
is like,
This
no, I like where
pickle.
I didn't think this conversation was going to go here. This one's making, Mara's falling asleep from the high pickle.
No, the pickle knocked my socks fucking off. I'll tell you right now.
Holy cow.
Knock my socks
What's the
off.
proof on this thing?
It's like 30, it's like 70.
It's not much of the proof. It's just
the taste.
It's
You know what it is?
definitely.
It's the spice. It's tricking me into
It's
thinking
out in left field. Shit,
okay.
I've drank lots
I'm
of bourbon.
sweating.
This one's a different breed. This one.
It is spicy. It is pickly. It is,
Oh my God. We should have put you in the middle on the pickle.
again, it's very delicious. Thank you, Robert.
Good Lord. We got to switch whiskeys because, the spicy is the worst part of that.
Actually, I find it to be the best part. I can't get over that I feel like I'm drinking pickle juice.
Yeah.
It feels like a pickle shot.
This might actually be like actual fermented, disgusting pickle juice.
Someone came out and said it. Okay.
Bob, I like to say, I have an iron constitution. As you know, you've been around the world with me. I can eat anything.
True.
Drink anything. This Whicked pickle did me in.
You're done?
It knocked my socks fucking off. I got to cleanse my palate. with
Yeah,
something else.
so we're going to do it with the
I gotta
high
take my
and
medicine and empty this, don't I?
take your
I gotta
medicine.
finish the rest of this shit.
You started medicinal. Come on, Old Forester. So this one we picked. This is the high and Whicked, not the Whicked pickle. The high and Whicked. And I've seen a lot of the posts that you have about the high and Whicked taking advantage of working folk. This is another high proof one, but this is a straight bourbon.
Now I'll tell you,
Okay.
I have bad eyes, and this has very small print, but I did read the bottle. 107 proof, 12-year bourbon, which 12-year to me means it's going to be nice and smooth.
We shall see.
And let's hope it doesn't
take
taste
a
like
look
that.
here.
The
Pickle.
high and Whicked.
It doesn't taste like that pickle shit.
Oh, there you go.
If it does, he might be like a moon boost out of here. Smells better.
That's what I'm talking about. Now that's a nice bourbon.
That is
Very
fantastic.
smooth.
Oh, for that high proof too, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
High-end Whicked, I definitely recommend it.
So the high and Whicked, and I chose this one for you, Ryan. This is for my personal stash.
This
at
one's
home.
called The Honorable.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
This was a very selective pick, and the reason I did is because you do a lot of wage gap, company gap earnings, and I saw one post that you did about, if they just reallocated the wealth that they're having at the top, how much you can actually have affordable workers.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, but this idea that, the executives paying themselves big bonuses, stock buybacks, I think it's counterproductive to these companies. I think that if you took a little less profit in the short term and reinvested in your people, you're going to have a higher motivated workforce. They're going to produce more for you. I mean, your team will sacrifice for you. They will go above and beyond, but they need to know first that you actually give a shit about them. And when you're paying yourselves giant bonuses and doing stock buybacks and talking about record profits, and they're sitting there saying, I got a 5-cent an hour raise this year, asshole. That's not someone who's going to work hard for you. So I
agree
say
with-
it's good
I agree
business to
with
take
you
care
there
of your
for
team.
sure.
Well, you guys are business owners. You
Exactly.
take care of your people. They take care of you.
Like we were talking about this earlier, like we give back so much to the rest of our firm, and sometimes, they don't realize how much we put into the firm and how much cost it does to operate. But we give everybody equity into our company.
Everyone gets some buy-in.
Correct. And I love when I see companies. There's a lot in San Diego. One of the big breweries down there is an employee-owned. It's one of the big ones.
San Diego has what, 450 something local breweries?
That one,
it's got
Carl-
a really high content.
Not
Carl
Strauss. It's not Carl
No.
Strauss. It's the other big one. Ballast
Point,
what's the other-
Stone.
Is it Stone?
Green
Stone is the one.
Flash.
One of them owned. They're employee owned, where they let like.
Arrogant Bastard, that one?
That's part of the Stone Brewing.
part of it.
Yeah. Well, they took
You
over
like
the
that one,
world.
though.
I'm not a
10%,
big beer drinker myself.
I'm allergic to it now, so.
Really?
That's cruel irony, man. Happened when I was like 28. I was just
are
covered in
English.
spots all the
You're
time.
not Irish.
I told you, man. I'm a defective Englishman.
Oh, I had one of my friends in college, and he was, big into whiskey and drinking, and he found out that he was allergic to whiskey, and it was like the biggest curse. It was the biggest blessing because that guy wasn't alcoholic.
It was a blessing. Not an alcoholic, but I kid you not, I needed a nap every day. 1 p.m.
Wow.
It came around. I crashed, and I was covered in rashes, and I would tell people, "Oh, I'm just a ginger, sensitive skin." I was poisoning myself. I cut out the beer, and I immediately lost like 15
Was it
pounds.
what was it about the beer?
It's the gluten.
The gluten.
Yeah.
We were out to lunch one time, and they accidentally gave him gluten in the noodles instead of glass noodles.
Oh,
Yeah.
not good.
It's okay. I picked
tasted
it out.
right
That's
away.
okay.
Celiac or whatever they call that? Yeah.
Not celiac. No, just you have a rough time in the bathroom, and you're gonna itch.
Wow, well, he has a rough time in the bathroom.
That's just a regular day.
That's a cross-eyed bear. It's a cross-eyed bear.
Is it a cross you bear or a cross-eyed bear? Depends on what you eat.
Both. But to bring
Mara has
back,
some great bathroom stories, by the way, and we'll do that
yes,
off
I
camera.
do. I do have some good ones.
Your bathroom lore runs deep, doesn't it?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
kind of legendary.
You're in there sweating and
Legendary
pushing.
in the
This is a
shitter.
canon event.
No, but back to what he was saying. I have this conversation with my accountant almost every year in December. He comes in with the bad news, of, as they say, if you're rich, you suffer your taxes, right? So
I never heard
I'm
that.
always
but okay.
suffering my taxes because I make a lot of money, right? So then I got to pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
This is how it works, right? So my accountant comes in and he says, you have so many highly compensated employees
Yeah.
that, maybe why do you pay them so much? And I was like, that's just how we do it here, you know what I mean? Because the way I look at it, the people that work in my office, they put their blood and tears and sweat, and they work on the weekends, they sacrifice their time with their families and everything in order to for us all to rise.
But
right?
you give away so much. Most of you, I don't remember anybody ever leaving your firm.
No, nobody leaves my office. I've had people working me 20 years plus because I take care of them, because I see that as much as I like to go to Switzerland with Bob, so does the receptionist at my office.
Yeah.
She wants to go to Switzerland too, and so does every person that works there wants to go to Switzerland or wants to go to Spain like me and this guy and go to Barcelona and get drunk on the beach. They want to too.
Whoa, we
you
don't
know?
get drunk on the beach.
Well,
Adjacent.
Well,
But
you
so
see
you
what
have
they
to
do.
understand
Yeah,
that
you see
they
it.
have to be
But
also.
I think we also grew up that way too. I mean, I saw some pictures of you when you were like a little 8-year-old in a fire truck.
Oh my God! I
saw it recently. It was pretty cool.
4 or 5. I was 4. I was 4. It
See,
was 1994.
You were 4, but you look like you were 8 in that photo. Big human, this guy.
You just eat your broccoli,
Wow. Your broccoli, that's what you attributed to?
It's broccoli.
My
butter,
son
and
loves
beef.
broccoli. My 5-year-old loves broccoli.
Wow, broccoli.
Yeah, man.
It's
you
full
eat
of
your
vitamin
greens for
C.
your health. You eat your meat for your strength, and then you have everything else is for energy.
Okay, well, we'll teach a different class. Where do
There we
pickles
go.
fit in that? In the middle?
Where the pickles fit? Dude,
Pickles are fitting in the trash dump.
The pickles are punishment.
In the trash dump.
It's the
trash
pickles what you get if you don't eat your broccoli.
God, I used to like pickles, and now I think I'm scarred.
I can never eat a pickle again.
Man. At least not a stiff pickle. Would you like a rubbery pickle?
No.
No one likes a rubbery pickle.
I don't think
I
anybody
like the ones
does.
that snap, the one with the
A
duck.
crunchy pickle.
What's the one with the duck on the jar? There's a duck
Oh,
on
they have those
That's a
commercials.
swan. No,
it's
no,
a
no.
swan. Yeah, it's a
It's
swan.
a goose.
Or
was
a
the one?
goose, yeah.
Well, we'll
That's
think
the
of it
one
later. I like when they have a charcuterie board, and it took me, by the way, many
years?
dinners ordering a to figure out how it's pronounced. But those little pickles,
Can I get the chicanery board?
What was it? Cornichon. That's what that is.
what is it called?
The little pickle.
Yeah, what's it
It's a
called?
cornichon.
This
Little
guy
guy.
knows his
Little
pickles.
guy.
Wow.
I know pickles, man, and that's when I tell you there's something going on over there.
So, I mean, for all those people who are watching or listening, depending on the medium that you're doing it, Attorney Ryan has a big following and a big voice and advocate, millions of shares that I see all the time on the posts that you do. And you are a 2.5-year lawyer, 3-year lawyer?
No, we're 3 years,
3 years.
January.
3
So,
years.
Yeah, in the 4th.
So what do you, like, what did you do? I mean, I know you had no financial means. You didn't like,
Yeah, it was
you
pretty
didn't
weak
have-
getting started out.
you didn't have any private equity money to jumpstart your firm? Is
Negative.
that what you're saying?
What?
Negative. None of that. What was that?
No private equity money?
No, none of that. None of that. No,
No
I'll tell you what
VC
though.
capital?
None of the VC capital, none of that. I will say I had people who loved me and I had mentors. And you know, it's so funny to look back and say, you know, I didn't really do this by myself. You know, some people don't like when I say I don't feel self-made because no one wrote me a check, but so many people said, let me teach you something. Let me answer some questions. Hey man, you know, how's it going? And just supporting me. I mean, a lot of people don't even have that, and I'm really grateful for that. I would not have been able to start my firm if it wasn't for 25 and 30-year attorneys willing to jump in.
But how
on
did you
cases with me.
how did you find those folks?
Law school. I was really active in law school. I tutored a lot, and I got to know the community.
Where did you go to
pretty
law
well.
school?
Cal Western.
Nice.
California Western School of Law, downtown San Diego.
So there's a lot of,
It's the haunted one. It's the haunted campus.
I mean, he went to,
Gene Sullivan went to Cal
Really?
Western, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gene Sullivan, yeah, they went there.
he's another one with red hair.
Gene's got no hair.
He shaves it off. You ever seen without if he
I
hasn't
have
shaved his
seen
head?
it. I've seen
No,
it.
I shaved mine off at one point too. I don't
Really?
blame him. Yeah.
But he has a full head of hair. He looks like Lex Luthor. We're like, why do you shave your head? We saw a picture. He has long, like, red curly locks.
Well, the bald head's a statement.
It is.
It's got an intimidation component too.
I mean, they've done studies on
Imagine The Rock with a full head of hair.
it. I've
doesn't work.
seen it when he
Doesn't
was
work.
Rocky. He was a different person. Rocky Mia. What was his name back in the day?
In wrestling?
Wrestling.
I remember in Scorpion King.
Oh my
Remember
God,
Scorpion King? He had that long hair. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks much better now, I guess. So, Ryan, as we go through all these different whiskeys and a journey across,
Yeah.
one of the things I wanted to bring up with you is your passion for helping people on a massive scale. So you have at your firm, I think you're all virtual. You have 12.
Pretty much. It's hybrid. I have some people who come in 2 or 3 days a week to help me with like mailing and things like that. But now virtual. Just letting go and letting people work on their terms, giving them ownership. And yeah, I tend to overpay, but I don't have to deal with high turnover. I don't have to deal with people feeling burnt out. Like everyone is willing to step up when we need them to
So
step
you're not
up.
monitoring keystrokes and having cameras on them?
I
while they're
feel
working?
so bad for. I mean, I feel
so
bad for the
weird.
worker, but I feel bad
so
for the
weird.
manager. How insecure are you that
Dude, you're preaching the
client
choir.
experience doesn't matter, the verdict doesn't matter, the settlement check doesn't matter. All you care about is how many keystrokes your paralegal
weird-
put in.
it's a
What
weird
is
thing.
wrong with you? Who
It is kinda
cares? If anything, I want fewer keystrokes because that's efficiency.
You guys know that company Zappos, the shoe company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever read the book that the guy who, I don't know if he killed himself or he died under weird circumstances, the guy who founded Zappos? The guy's name was like Tony Shee.
Oh yeah, I listened to his How I Built This, and that
He
guy's
used
great.
to let his employees pick their shift, what time they worked, picked how much, he would let them set their own salaries too.
Really?
He would, this was decade before the pandemic. He let them work from home. He had a complete different view of how to manage the workforce. And Zappos was a crazy successful company.
But if you invest in your employees, that's how
Yeah.
secure.
Well, people forget it's a team. And it's not just, oh, here's the CEO and you're the king and you deserve loyalty because it's your company. That's a very short-sighted vision. You need a team that functions even if you're having a bad day, they can step up, you know? And that doesn't happen without buy-in. That doesn't happen without ownership. That doesn't happen without someone saying, I have some control.
Are
and I
you
own
are you
piece
a
of
Green
this."
Bay Packers fan?
Not at all, but I do appreciate that they're a fan-owned team.
There we go.
I
You got
like
the-
that
you
a
got the
lot.
reference.
And
And what?
as a
Here we
side
go.
note,
You're wearing their colors.
I actually own one share of the Green Bay Packers.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Um,
An
because
NFL team owner in our
I'm a NFL
midst.
team owner.
Wow,
And it's
Mara.
funny because every year I get the email about the shareholder meeting that I could actually go to, even though I own one shitty non-voting share. And it says when you buy it, because they've only sold shares like twice in their history. And I just happened to be bored one day on the internet and I saw that it came out. And I went in there and I bought 2 shares. Bought one for me and one for my buddy. And they sent it to his house and he's like, what is this? I said, dude, do you own part of the Packers? I sent it to Dordick. So Dordick has a share and I have a share of the Packers. And every year I get the updates because I'm a shareholder. But it's very clear that I have no voting rights It's not worth anything. It's like, it's just basically just useless. But I paid $1,000 for it, I think.
Do you at least have the cheese hat?
No, I'm not really a Packer fan either, but I do like the fact that I own part of the team.
So he used to be a tight end, but now they worked him into a wide receiver.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see you in a skill position. That makes sense.
his jokes are so bad. These are the worst, man. The worst.
That was a good joke.
Okay. Actually, that was a good one.
Okay, thank you. Marv has he uses a lot of jokes over and over.
Well, I think the Packers, I mean, you can see the results there. I mean, look at that fan base. It doesn't really matter how well the Packers are doing. That is a town that shows up for their team.
Yeah.
In good times
So
and in
whenever
bad.
my team doesn't make the Super Bowl or pick the sport, I root for the fan base that cares the most.
There we go.
Yeah, it should
Exactly.
be. That's the way it should be. Like, well, hockey, the Penguins are out, or the Kings. Oh shit, I sponsor the Kings, so I can't say the Penguins.
You can't be talking shit on the
Can't be
Kings.
talking shit on the Kings. All right. Anyway, if an American team is out of the NHL
So,
finals,
speaking of that-
I always root for the Canadian team because they
Who do you like in
care
the Super
more.
Bowl? I think the Niners have a tremendous fan base.
But by the time this airs, we'll know.
Wait, who has the
I'm gonna-
Swifties, though?
I'm going to say Niners.
Kansas City is more dedicated. If you know anybody from Kansas City, they're diehard for the Chiefs. So for that reason, I'm rooting for the Chiefs. So whatever. How about you?
Wait, which one is dating Taylor Swift?
The guy from the Chiefs.
There we go. I think that guy just brought in how many hundreds of millions of extra fans for the Chiefs right there?
yes.
Don't mess with the Swiftie fan base. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
He's a big music guy, so he
There we
loves,
go.
he loves the Swifties.
Yeah, if Taylor Swift is behind it, I don't know. There's some divine energy behind the Chiefs right now.
Well, according to some websites that I read, she's not even a real person. She's actually like one of those reptile people.
The
that's
FBI plant theory?
Yeah.
They came out with a statement.
she's
They
a
straight up
deep-
said
deep-
she is not an FBI plant, which I didn't think that
part of
theory
the
had
deep
any
state?
credit till they said that.
Well, there's certain websites that will tell you a lot of
But
these.
my Uber driver this morning told me that Biden's been dead for a long time, and that the guy that they have is just like an actor, and that he's part of the deep state.
Oh, I've heard this.
And this was this guy was like Ukrainian. My Uber driver. It was pretty amazing.
Wait, your Uber driver is Ukrainian?
Yes. Yes. And
Never
he's-
heard this.
Yeah. But
No, people actually believe that these things. And I always think, like, we try a lot of cases. It's like my theme is always, how many conspiracies, what's the biggest conspiracy that has to, like, be part of this case in order for the other side to win?
Interesting.
How many people have to be in on this huge conspiracy? Right?
Well, people, are we naturally in tune to sort of want to believe in the conspiracy? Is there a part of us that we're susceptible to it because we want to believe?
Here's the psychology of it. People want to believe that they've come up with the solution or answer to the problem. So if they think enough that, like, I think UFOs exist, they'll always come up with that conclusion and rationale. So when you're picking a jury and you want to find people that are, if it's a liability case, you want to leave breadcrumbs for them to figure out the answer to it, and they will overcommit to it and sway the entire jury because that's their psychology of it.
Isn't that funny that if you leave little clues, you're going to get more commitment than if you come
Tell
out
'em.
guns
Don't tell 'em.
blazing, I'm going to tell you who's liable.
So in this, I'm a big believer. Gary Dordick taught us this, and when you go in, if it damages, what is the pain and suffering worth, or the injury? You're probably the person that's best suited to tell them that. So you can tell them that number. You can tell them, I'm the expert in this. This is what I believe it is. On the liability side, let them figure it out for themselves. Orchestrate it so they come up with a conclusion on their own. But once they do, imagine, like, if you are watching a movie and you think you know who the killer is and it's a murder mystery, you're like, oh, you got that, right?
And then the vindication you feel when you're right. So making it feel like it's their idea.
Yes.
And that helps a lot too, because so many people don't want to be told what to believe.
Correct.
And I think that's why
Exactly
we
what
see
Gary
the
said.
conspiracy.
I know.
It's because it's different from the mainstream. The mainstream's telling me what to believe all the time, but here's something a little more exciting that maybe could be true, and it feels like it's mine. Giving people ownership of the idea goes far.
So it depends on, like, once you get to closing arguments in our cases, you've vetted out who is going to go down that path of, I can believe any fucking thing somebody says. To, I'm going to stay down the straight and narrow, and I'm going to be able to follow these little forensic clues and win for you. But every case is different. Depends. He drives a lot of premises liability cases, so it's different type of folks like those.
yes, different. It's hard to find really unbiased jurors because there's a bias against slip and fall cases.
Why do you think that is?
Just too much bullshit, too much propaganda from the
I mean,
insurance
every
companies.
video you see on social media, oh, they slipped and fell on a banana peel. And then
Yeah.
Well, the worst ones, it was a video on YouTube that went viral. It was a man in a 7-Eleven, and the camera straight up caught him. He filled up a little cup of
yeah.
ice and then threw it down, looked left, looked right, and then just
Yeah.
took a dive like he was a soccer player
that's
trying
like
to draw a foul. Yeah.
0.000 millionth percent of people who get hurt in slip and falls. There is some of that, but for some reason, the media and the insurance company propaganda has really infiltrated the American public to think that when they hear, oh, someone slipped and fell at a supermarket, it's got to be some kind of a scam.
Well, it's an exposure bias. That's what makes the big headlines, because it's the most outrageous, salacious thing. Dude, I have the same problem in my practice with the EDD stuff. You know, people get their unemployment checks to survive, but we get these really highly publicized stories about people fraudulently getting EDD benefits. There was a rapper who had a song, it was like EDD card, and his music video was him making it rain, fraudulent
that was
EDD.
ODB.
Government-issued cards that he fraudulently applied for.
That was ODB from Wu-Tang.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Old
talking
Dirty
about.
Bastard did
Old
this?
ODB.
How do you
He
know
made a
these
music
things?
video of his fraud.
Yeah, and
Worst
riding around
client
in
of all
a
time.
riding,
Worst client of all time.
riding around in a limousine picking up his checks.
Oh, I missed that
You
one.
know ODB.
I mean, I
Old
could
Dirty
I could probably
Bastard.
do the entire Wu-Tang. Even
He's
though
got
it's
he's got the greatest line of all time in a rap song. I won't say it here.
ODB's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he
He
died.
died a few years ago. All right, so Ryan, we're ending the our tour across.
Okay.
I don't know where they made the Pickle. This is Tennessee.
Pickle said like Ohio or something, someplace where you would think
I thought I saw
they'd
Sixth
make
Layer
the
of
shit.
Hell somewhere on
Missouri, no,
Nowhere in
Missouri.
Dante's
It's-
Inferno.
M.O. is Missouri.
Missouri.
Okay, Missouri.
That makes sense.
Also a layer of hell. So,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
same
now we're
thing.
going maybe Kansas City for the Super Bowl. But anyway, Ryan, we've toured Middle America here.
Yes, we did.
And the workers advocate that you are, we're very thankful for you. Like, you're a voice for a lot of us that on social media, I can always repost you and get a lot of likes.
Oh, yeah, happy
Thank
to
you
help.
very much. We have to always, at the end of the show, pick your bourbon to proof. Which one did you, either whether it was the story or what you enjoyed drinking the most? And I'll let you exclude the Pickle, just to be fair to the Pickle, because I know that would be your choice.
You
But
know
can
what?
pick your
I got to
bourbon
tell you,
to proof.
as a conversation starter, as a bonding experience, sometimes hardship brings a team together. And for that, I do like the Pickle's ability to bring people together.
I'll never forget you or the Wicked Pickle.
I'm not
So
going to
you're-
forget
you're-
that.
you're right. It
So
is
I'll tell
a
you what,
bonding
different
experience.
purposes. For bringing a team together, there we
Wow.
go. There we go.
The common enemy always brings you
It
together.
really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I'm in a cabin by myself, just reflecting on life and what it means and the beauty, I'm taking Old Forester. I love the
Nice.
story.
Yeah.
I love the taste.
Very good.
You know, that was my first sip of whiskey in maybe a year.
Wow.
And to have that, maybe it was because it was the first sip and I've missed it, but that was some good stuff, the Old Forester.
Well, Ryan, thank you for coming on the show, and thank everybody for listening or viewing Bourbon Approved. Thank my co-host Mara, who's still the most viewed episode on YouTube, Mara Fiore, because his stories are so outlandish you think they're not true, but I've actually seen some of them in person. Ryan, thank you for coming on, my
Hey,
friend.
thank you guys.